the self-regulatory organization, India Fintech Foundation, is consisting of fintech. It is not only just the fintech. There are specific fintech like corporate BCs, banking agents, banking correspondent, regtech, insurtech, and the traditional fintech like what we see today. So this is probably one of the most comprehensive uh, bouquet of members who would be looking for guidance on many regulatory issues and standardization of processes. Because typically what happens is the regulatory guideline is generic, it is not prescriptive. The processes and standardizations are being are being issued by SROs, so that there is a proper way of dealing with a particular regulation.
I think there are three key roles that this SRO will play. Number one is to make sure that consumers are safe, their finances are safe, and when they interact with the financial ecosystem, they do it with confidence. Number two, I think this SRO will play the role of a trusted bridge between banks and legacy institutions and fintech innovators. Today, there is a lot of discovery and a lot of standards a lot of processes that need to be standardized. So I think the second big role that the SRO can play is to establish standards which are co-developed between the institutions and the fintechs and make sure that adoption is voluntary and certified. So the second big role is that of standardization and certification. And the third is also to be the the scale mechanism for a regulator, right? There are various numbers out there in terms of how many thousand startups are there in the fintech ecosystem. It is impossible for a regulator to directly oversee all of them. And I think the third big role that the SRO plays is to be a scale mechanism, a trusted voice of the industry to the regulator and vice versa, so that it's a healthy development of the entire ecosystem. So essentially three roles: consumer protection, standards and practices and certification, and the third is capacity building from a regulator perspective.
I think basically the important piece right now is that there is a lot of information gap, right? For larger institutions, you have people who can help them and work with them overall. But for the smaller institutions, you don't have knowledge accessible, you don't have information accessible overall. So this SRO wants to make information and knowledge accessible. Beyond that, we also want to go ahead and share frameworks with them, how to do things, guidance and mentoring overall. And that's what this role is, right? Overall, RBI regulator also wants us, we will get ourselves registered with RBI and start all of these processes and everything, and start helping the smaller fintechs grow and become larger and become responsible as well.
I think I want to clarify very clearly that this is a proposed SRO. Okay, the RBI has issued a regulation for setting up SROs and a methodology where they will actually give recognition. But you have to first set up the entity and then apply for recognition. This is a proposed SRO, and the RBI has laid out in its regulations what are the expectations of the SRO. So at this moment, we are working towards meeting those expectations of the Reserve Bank in terms of governance, membership, corpus funds, etc. That is what we are doing. So I think please make it very clear that we are launching this as a proposed SRO. Okay, so we are not an SRO recognized by RBI yet. Okay, I want to make that very clear. But we'll definitely seek recognition.
For the orderly growth of any industry, it's essential that there should be regulations which everyone should follow, right? I give you a very simple example in which everybody will be able to relate with. Recently we saw the Champions Trophy organized by ICC. What does ICC do? It frames rules, and all the participating countries, they follow those rules and play the game. Now, what is the advantage of this? The advantage is that we have uniformity in the way people play the game, and there is transparency that is brought about in the way decisions are taken. The same thing is achieved when you have a self-regulatory organization. The other advantage is that when it's self-regulation, when you yourself form the rules, the compliance to those rules tend to become much better. And that results in people voluntarily agreeing to do things in an organized, orderly way.